Hey, you guys, based on some recent conversations I've had, I wanted to come on here real quick and give a little bit of insight into getting readings on your twin flame journey and what you're getting from my readings. Because, I kind of get the spectrum. I get some people who they want more of like the traditional psychic readings where they want to know details and how their twin is feeling and just like all sorts of little detailed things about the 3D. And then I have other people who are like, I don't want to focus on readings. I don't want to focus. I want to focus on like my inner knowing of what's going on, and they lean away from it. And that is where you're headed regardless. Like as you work through your journey and your process, and as you surrender more and more, you don't need readings as much. You don't even feel the need for them. That also is something that's a difference. So this also goes back to the differences. Some people like me have OCD or have control issues, and like they want to know as much as possible. And to be honest, like I'm like that with anything, like not even important stuff. Like when watching TV shows, like I'm the person who I want all the spoilers. Give me the spoilers. I want to know what happens. I don't like, I'll still watch it, but I want to know what happens. Not everybody's like that. Some people can like totally like let go with the flow, not know anything, just wait and see what happens. Not everybody's like that. So I think that a lot of it comes with that, that those two groups of people, those who want to know everything and those who can just sit back and wait and chill or connect with their inner knowing. So with the twin flame journey, it is true that, like I was just saying, as you go through the process and as you surrender more, you're not even going to feel the need for readings as much if you're someone like me who does or did or whatever. And that is the goal. That is the long-term goal. The closer you get to union, not needing them or not checking in as much depending on, what your situations are. And, feeling from your intuition and your inner knowingness. That's definitely the goal. But I also think that it's important for people to understand that it's okay in the meantime. Like you're not hurting yourself by getting readings. Like in the early stages when you have a lot more anxiety and struggle with different things, especially if you have a spiritual warfare journey. Also, when you have a spiritual warfare journey, you actually kind of need the readings to be able to stay on top of what's going on and make sure that you and your twins stay safe. So the readings are important for that reason. Like that's part of why I got so dependent on them during that phase of time, because I needed to stay on top of what the karmic was doing and make sure that we were able to prevent anything that was going to happen. Because I had a very intense spiritual warfare journey, and I know a lot of people who have too. So that is important. So there's different stages that you go through that serve different purposes. So that's one reason why sometimes you do actually need them for a significant reason. And then also, if you're that type that gets the anxiety and whatnot, to me, it's better to get the reading and lower your anxiety than it is to stay in high anxiety and panicking or worrying or in fear-based energy. You don't want to sit in fear-based energy for too long. So I think it's better to get the reading and alleviate that. And you will naturally evolve and change over time. And that's fine. That's the way that it works out. That's the way it's meant to be. You don't like put pressure on yourself or feel like you're doing something wrong or you're hurting yourself or your journey. My opinion is that you're not. You're doing what you need to do for yourself and for your journey, and that's okay. Don't let anybody else judge you about that or tell you that you're doing something wrong. Now, personally, I am able to kind of cater to both. Well, I'll explain what I mean by cater to those on the surrendered side in a second. But I can cater to those who want more information. Like I'm not a traditional psychic, like, the ones that you usually talk to on the apps who can give you those like quick detailed answers and all that stuff. Like I do take my time. But I can get that information since I do have direct conversations with spirit, and I can talk directly to, everybody's higher self. So I can get that direct information. However, what I have found spirit working through me is that spirit's objective working through me doing readings is to help people find their way down their soul paths and to help people find their way down their twin flame journeys. Twin flame journey, of course, being a significant part of your soul path. And so the guidance that spirit gives through me when I do my twin flame readings is not usually like a traditional psychic reading unless somebody is asking me those very specific questions and I am finding out for them. But yeah, my traditional twin flame readings are much more oriented towards what your spirit team and your higher selves want you to know for your progress down your twin flame journey and your soul path, and achieving integration with your higher selves, achieving your life purpose paths as well, and just bringing everything together in order to align for union. So the twin flame reading aspects does look at where you are at on your side of the journey, where your twin is at on their side of the journey, what you guys need to work on, where you're headed, stuff like that. But just overall, that's what the objective is. And I wanted to point that out because I have had people say stuff to me, the ones who don't want to focus on readings, and I realize that they don't understand that my readings are not those traditional psychic readings. Mine are that orientation of what do you need to know for what you need to work through, what needs to be done to achieve the goals for your soul path and for your alignment of everything and for your inner union and your outer union. And that's what I was getting at in terms of how I would assist someone who's further along and is more surrendered, or is working on that stage of surrendering and tuning into their inner connection to source, to spirit, trusting in their inner knowing, because spirit is going to put you through a process as you become more awakened, as your gifts open up and your awareness expands and you get further along down that aspect of your journey. Spirit is going to put you through the experiences that help teach you how to discover or feel or access the truth from your own inner knowing and from your own spiritual gifts. And that's the goal. The goal, even if you start off with very dependent on readers, the goal is to help you develop your own gifts and your own inner knowingness, however you want to put it. So as you go, like my readings for you would evolve as well to what you need in that regard, whether it's the soul path related or even helping people connect with their gifts or practice with their gifts or learn how to use them, or working on their ascension paths, excuse me, or anything pertaining to their ascension paths and ascension knowledge and all that stuff. So I just wanted to point that out for one thing, in that understanding of the purpose of readings on your twin flame journey from anybody, what spirit wants you to, what is the word I'm looking for? I guess what spirit wants you to experience and go through, and what they want you to learn. And then also, I forgot to say, when spirit is giving you that guidance on your soul path, spirit is going to tell you what you need to hear and what you need to know. It's not always necessarily going to be what you're asking for. It's going to be what's going to help you, continue on your soul path in the best way, on your highest timeline, all those things. So spirit wanted me to explain that stuff for your own knowledge, for your own journeys, and just have a little bit of understanding of what it is that you get with me and from me as well. Spirit seems to have me shifting a little more focus onto healing work, but I'm still going to be doing all of the above. So you just let me know what you need from me, and I will provide that with Spirit's touch. Okay, Spirit wanted me to say one more thing. I forgot about this when I was recording the first one. So Spirit also wants you to know that you're not supposed to know everything. And that's another aspect of that evolution from the early stages when you're much more anxious and fear based to the surrendered stage when you are able to let go and allow things to unfold. So if you know too much, you can change the outcome. You can't change union, but you can change how it happens. So if you know too much about not what's happening in the 3D, but like what's going to happen or what's supposed to happen or whatever, like if you're like trying to figure out, you know, exactly what's going to take place and how and when and all those things, you're almost guaranteeing that it will change because you're not supposed to know. I learned this in 2022. Like, I was still like needing to know how things were going to happen, what was going on, all of these things. There were reasons for it from the 3D side that I understand now. And actually, when I felt a shift in my twin later on, I also shifted internally, and I no longer needed to know those things anymore. And I think that I was picking up, you know, his own uncertainty over trying to figure it out. So fine. But in any case, my point is just that, like, I experienced that. I know what it feels like. And so what was happening at that time was that I was asking questions, wanting to know things about what was actually happening, what was going to happen, all that stuff. And Spirit was giving me answers because I was asking. And then it either was changing and, you know, what I was told didn't end up happening, or sometimes it wasn't even correct in the first place. And the reason why was because I was demanding an answer. So Spirit gave me an answer. And like I said, sometimes it wasn't even correct because basically I was demanding an answer, so Spirit gave me one. Or it changed because since I was told, it could no longer happen that way because I wasn't supposed to know. And there was, to be honest, other reasons why things had to change as well, just because the karmic situation was still evolving. Regardless of that, though, my main point there is that I went through that experience of struggling with my spirit guides because I was like needing to know more, wanting to know more, trying to control the journey basically. And even though I couldn't really control it, just knowing made me feel better. So it made me feel in control. But Spirit was like, no, like you have to let that need go. And so they were giving me answers, but it was either not completely accurate or it was changing because I was not in the right mindset yet. So that's why you do have to be careful when it comes to this, the psychic type questions of the super detailed everything going on, because you won't necessarily always get 100% accuracy, or it'll change because you're not supposed to know everything. And Spirit wants you to understand that. When, like I said before in the previous video, as you heal and come into inner union and surrender, you won't feel that need so much anymore. And now I've gotten to a point where, like, I don't even want to know. Like, don't tell me because I don't want to know. I don't want things to change. I just want it to play out the way that it's supposed to play out. And what's funny is that now Spirit is telling me stuff when I'm not even asking. And I'm like, why are you telling me? I'm like, I thought I wasn't supposed to know. And Spirit's like, well, now your mindset has changed and you're detached from it. You're not like, you don't like need it now. Now you're detached and you're able to just go with the flow of whatever's going to happen and whenever it's going to happen. And so now we need you to know a little bit because we want you to be prepared for this or prepared for that, or we need you to do this or we need you to do that, whatever the heck it might be about. So now I think that's funny that now, like, I'm literally saying to Spirit, like, why are you telling me this? Like, I didn't even ask. And it's because literally Spirit said, because now we trust you to stay detached and we trust you to be able to step back and let it unfold naturally rather than trying to control. And that's a huge difference as well once you're in the surrender stage. So Spirit wanted me to explain that you do have, the goal is really to detach. like I said, once you detach, maybe spirit will start throwing information at you too. I don't know. But the goal is to detach from needing it. You know what I mean? Like, imagine that like you're trying to grip on tight. Sometimes the need for information from the psychic readings and whatnot is because that's the only type of control that you feel like you have in the situation, especially when you're in separation, especially when you're in the runner stage, or if you have limited contact, like you feel like that's the only thing that you can control. So letting go of that need for that is like loosening your grip and relaxing and, you know, not like hurting yourself, like trying to grip on so tightly to that stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's like a mental thing. So anyway, like I said, Spirit wanted me to explain that and explain why that's the goal, and why that's the evolution of things. Like I said before, like, because, why did I say like so much just now? Because of what I experienced and how I am, I understand that need. I understand getting the readings, and there is a time and a place for them, because there are times, 50% of twin flames go through spiritual warfare, or there could be other stuff going on where you do need to know things. But like I said, there's a time and a place, and it evolves as you go. So just be aware of that. Be aware of the goals. Do what you need to do for yourself, okay? For your mental, excuse me, for your mental sanity, and for your anxiety, and for you to be able to keep your vibration higher, to be happier and more joy instead of freaking out, fear-based, worrying, stressing, all that stuff. Like I also said at the end of the last video, Spirit has me shifting over, it would seem, to focusing on healings more, because now I get more healing orders instead of reading orders, and I do think that Spirit is guiding that. So I do also want to point out that, honestly, like, this is not about anything other than trying to help you guys understand what it's like, but if you're on a twin flame journey, there's a lot of healing needed. Whether you do it yourself or whether you work with a healer, however it comes about, there's a lot of healing needed. I just see it so much now of this past life needs to be healed of something that happened. That past life needs to be healed of something that happened. Like, basically, like, your past lives are just full of karmic cycles with different people or situations or things that you are integrating the lessons, and you're healing them and releasing them. So I know many people who they are at a level where they can meditate and Spirit can reveal it to them, and they can heal it right then and there themselves, or they can work on that process. They're learning different modalities, and they can do the healing work for themselves. And then there's other people who work with healers to do it. Sometimes you need a healer if it's an advanced, complex issue, which spiritual warfare is definitely included in that. Although some people are capable of that, depends on the person, but spiritual warfare is usually included in that. And there can be other things, like sometimes the past life stuff. If it's not past life stuff, and if it's, present lifetime deep wounds, you can do your meditations to work through that stuff too. And again, it comes down to how practiced you are. So just keep that in mind, and know that that's something you should expect that you need to do, no matter how you do it. Whether you figure out how to do it yourself or you work with someone, you should expect that you are going to have to go through this healing process and learn how to do it or get help. And that would also be something that the reading, my twin flame readings at least, would reveal, would be like what different healing you need to work on or work through. I mean, I can't speak for other advisors, not psychic advisors, I wouldn't really think, to be honest. But I know that Spirit gives that information through me all the time. So, and that's why I say I see it all the time now. So that's why I want to give you the heads up that you should expect that. And you should really incorporate doing that healing for yourself in whatever capacity as part of your journey and spiritual awakening process. Okay? So I hope this helped, and I will talk to you guys later.